6,000 people each year take their own life. Suicide is now the biggest killer of men under the age of 45, surpassing lung cancer and heart disease. When my father took his own life nearly 2 years ago, I was left with the desire to find out what led him to take such drastic measures. I'm going to talk to my dad's best friend, David. I want to know his memories of my dad growing up and if there were any signs of mental illness from a young age.
You know, with Martin coming from a broken home, you know, there was his dad that, you know, brought him up. And I don't know whether or not that obviously impacted Martin, perhaps maybe in later years, that there wasn't, you know, a mum there to bring him up, maybe to keep things settled in the household. The only thing that I knew, you know, about Martin's mum was that what I was told at the time was that she, you know, she suffered with mental issues, and he always wanted to be loved. And it was as though there was a cry out. He was crying out all the time, and I don't think he realised how much he was loved. And he used to say to me, "All I want is a hug. All I want is a hug. I'm not asking for much." Very, very hard situation to come to terms with. You know, the circumstances that I've lost my friend. You don't. I just would not have thought in a million years that this is the way it would have ended for Martin. You know, we always joked, you know, one day when we're all fellas, you know, we'd be sat on a park bench somewhere, reminiscing about the old times.
My dad's childhood had a huge factor to play in his later mental state, but I'm still struggling to figure out how it could have gone unnoticed for so long. I'm here to meet with psychologist and existential therapist Emmy van Dirtsen to see if she can explain to me why over 80% of suicides are men.
Well, the problem with men, of course, is that they don't come to therapy. They are determined to kill themselves, and they're very good at it. And this has always been the case, you know. Women have always attempted suicide more than men, and men have always been more successful at actually killing themselves. So that's not very good. So you get lots of women who have attempted suicide and then decide they need to talk about it and work it out. But with men, that's much harder. What I do get a lot is men who come for another reason, and then I discover very slowly and very gradually that actually they're deeply suicidal, and they're really locked into that determination of doing something about it. And they only come talk about it as a sort of last resort to check whether maybe they're making a mistake and there might still be some hope. So the opportunity is very small. They don't give you much of a chance, and they hide their suicidal feelings for a very long time. And you really have to kind of penetrate through that. Men still very much want to be macho and be seen to be coping, even when they're not.
It's becoming clear that talking is something men find very difficult, but it's also the most powerful asset we have for tackling mental health issues. I've met up with Matt Kynaston at the Equal Earth Gallery in Kent. He's currently writing a book about his traumatic experiences whilst travelling and being on the brink of suicide.
It got to the point where I was walking through the streets of Melbourne, having tried to find a job interview which I'd been offered for a bar job, and I couldn't find the bar because I couldn't process street names. I literally couldn't. My memory had gone, my hygiene had gone, my ability to even think coherently had gone. I started planning my suicide. Buses were going past me, and I was just thinking, if the next one's going a bit quicker, I'll just step out in front of that, because that would definitely kill me. Every negative emotion that you've ever had, you wake up with and fall asleep with. You believe that because you've made so many mistakes and you've messed up so much, and you know that you're gone in the head, you don't believe you can recover from that. I didn't believe that I could recover from that. The most incredible thing, I think I remember someone saying to me when I was really in the depths of where I was, when I was hitchhiking and I was living basically out of a hammock and in a tent, this is just an experience. This is just an experience. Like all the experiences that you've had before, leading up to now, you've learned from those experiences. And even if you don't think you've learned from those experiences, you will think that. And if you're in the depths of misery and depression, you're thinking about taking your own life, this is just an experience, and you will learn from it, and you will 100% get through it.
I am one of hundreds of thousands of people who are affected by suicide. This journey has helped me look at my own experience and how important it is for me to talk about my feelings. I hope through this film we can relieve some of the stigma around suicide, and it could make just one person speak up and get help.